Okay, welcome everybody. This will be the last screencast that we do for this class here. What I'm going to do today is just give you a quick review of the final exam. I'll give you some information on it here. One, it will be a multiple choice format. Okay, secondly, expect 40 to 50 questions, somewhere around that vicinity. It will be found in my IT lab. It will be open on Wednesday from 6 a.m. to 11:55 p.m. There's a 1-hour time limit on it. And lastly, I guess this is the good part, is it is open book, and whatever other resources you want to use, as long as it is your work, okay? So that's just a quick rundown of the format for the final exam. Let's do this now. I want to show you a new tool. I'm going to pull up my IT lab here, which is up and loaded. And what I put in my IT lab for you is there's an electronic textbook in here now. And if you look and click on this link right here, I'm going to suggest you use this for reviewing. And I'm going to mark different sections in this textbook. I'll pull this up. It will open into a different window. I'll give you a quick little tutorial here, and then we'll maybe review together, at least through part of this. Okay, so your whole textbook is here. If you look, it looks just like our regular textbook. I'm going to use a couple of tools here. Let me fit this to a single page here. Okay, so I can do that. I can also display 2 pages up at the same time. Let me get off the cover here. So I can show 2 pages at the same time. Actually, I'm going to do this. There is a table of contents over here on the left hand side there, and I have this little tool that hides that navigation. So I can open and close the table of contents. I have this. I've been using this a lot. This is called the Whiteboard View. I click on that and I get the full I guess just a bigger picture of this. So I'm going to open up. I'll start in Microsoft Word here, and I can actually, the more I work with this, the more I seem to like it. I get my different sections of the textbook. If I'm interested in I don't know, workbook and worksheet management, I can pull this up, and again, this I can hide this navigation page, and then I can work with this just like my regular textbook. My page up and page down buttons on my keyboard allow me to move through it. And then the other important I guess tool here that I've been using is this pen that allows me to highlight and circle things. Okay, and I can save that if I want to for go back and review important components here. Okay, so I think this is a really neat tool, and I'd encourage you to use this to study for your final exam. All right. So one more thing here. Let me go back over here to my little list that I have going here. The other thing regarding our final exam, what will it cover? Okay, and it's going to be from your textbook. If you think through this course here, we started looking at data tables, and our analogy was, well, we can do this with a ledger pad. I could draw a couple of lines vertically and create a couple columns, and then I can put my field names across those columns on a ledger pad, and then I use each new line down the sheet as a new record. Okay, so we started there. We covered Word chapter 4, which covered tables. And then we covered chapters 1 through 4 through the Excel section of the textbook. And we also covered chapters 1 through 4 of the Access section of the textbook. So all 9 of these chapters are fair game for this final exam. One thing you will note, that there's nothing on qualitative or quantitative data sets. There's also nothing on pivot tables and pivot charts. Okay, so this is a subset of material that will be covered on the final exam. Let me go back into my IT lab here, and I'll pull up my textbook again. And I would suggest, this I do think you have a really good textbook here, and you may want to hold on to this. This might be a nice resource for you as you move forward in either your academic or professional career. Really helpful if you can't remember how to do something. Okay, so I'm in chapter 1 here. Here's where I would review. All right, at the end of each chapter, there is a list of chapter objectives and some key terms. All right, now let me go back to. Excuse me while I fumble through this here. I'm still a little lacking on a couple of details here. One, I want to show this as a single page, and I think we'll get a little bigger picture then. Well, maybe not. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can see that on your monitor. Okay, so here I'm at the end of chapter 1 of Excel, and I have lots of good information here about what was covered in this particular chapter. So for instance, one of the things that I looked at was symbols and order of precedence, okay, my order of operations. Remember that at any time you can hold down the control key and click on the tilde. And remember the tilde is just above. Tilde kind of looks like a little wave like this. Tilde is found just above the tab key on your keyboard. If you hold control tilde, remember that takes you to show your formulas. Okay, so I would spend some time reviewing the end of the chapter here, and then go ahead and go through these key terms again too. All right, another review activity that I would encourage that you'll find at the end of each chapter. I have my chapter objectives, my key terms, but I also have a bunch of practice multiple choice questions here too. So I would strongly encourage you to follow these. So for instance, here's one. Maybe we'll work through a couple of these together. Okay, here's number 3. Given this formula, b1 times b2 plus b3 divided by b4 raised to the second power, where b1 contains 3, yada yada yada, what's the result? Okay, and so what I'll grab one more little tool out here. I'll get my notepad document out, and let's run through this together. This is one of those problems that I think you need to do on paper. All right, so I'll go through this now. We got b1, which is 3, times, let me make that a little bigger here. Okay, b1, 3 times b2, 4, plus b3, which is 32, divided by b4, which is 4, raised to the second power. Less than helpful when it bounces down. So go ahead and solve that. And remember our order of precedence, we always do parentheses. We don't have any parentheses here, but we do have exponents. So that's next on the list. So it's going to be 3 times 3 times 4 plus 32 divided by 4 raised to the second power is 16. Next we do multiplication and division. So we got 12 plus 2, and then that's of course going to equal 14. So our solution over here is 14. Okay. Just some quick examples. Why would you press Control and then here's that tilde, or else they have that single hash mark there in Excel? And the correct answer, like we just talked about, is to display your formulas, right? All right. Let's go to another example chapter here. So this would be the way I would study. I'd go back through and review this. You're going to get multiple choice tests or multiple choice questions on your test, and it's very similar to what we're looking at here. Let me go to chapter 2 here. Chapter 2, we really sunk our teeth into some functions and formulas. We looked at date functions. We looked at conditionals. We looked at the lookup function, the PMT function, aggregate function, sum, averages, count, max and min. All right, so review that, and then let's do a couple examples here, and then we'll wrap up this webcast. Okay, so let's take a look at. I'll start with number 6 here. All right, so we look at number 6. It says, given these cells A1, A2, A3 containing 2, 3, and 10, and B6, C6, D6 containing 10, 20, and 30, respectively, what value will be returned by the function? And now we have a conditional. Here's our function. If, and then if B6 is greater than B3, it'll be this value. If it's not greater than that, it's going to be this value. Okay, so let's plug some numbers in, okay? So in this case, B6 is 10, and A3 is going to be 10. B6 is 10, and is B6 greater than B3? Well, in this case, they're equal, so that's not true. So our correct answer here is going to be D6 times A2, and let's figure it out. D6 is going to be 30, A2 is 3, so our correct answer should be 90 if we did that properly. Okay? So take a look at these and walk through them, and there's no, I don't have the answers out there for you. You can research them on your own, pull them out of your textbook. But I thought this nice opportunity. I think you're going to see more textbooks. In fact, we're considering this at some point next year, moving to a completely electronic textbook. And of course, the whole focus of that initiative would be to save students some money, because I think we can pick this up electronically a little less expensively than maybe what you're doing right now. All right. So take a look at that. You can make bookmarks in here. You can, notes. There's an index. There's a glossary, and I think this is a really great study tool for you. Okay. So I'm going to sign off here. I hope the class has been useful for you. Good luck to all of you on the final next week, and I truly hope that you've gotten something out of this class, and I wish you all the best, and I hope you have a great summer.